Hello, everybody. Tim Knight, new week in front of us, end of the month in a few days. This is a very big week. We've got Apple, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, Jerome Powell, and Lord knows what else, and all sorts of other earnings. The big juice in the earnings is on Wednesday, Thursday. Today it's the likes of, Public Storage Inc., But there was the weekend events, of course, on the trade front. After that performative and pointless Liberation Day stunt, it's just been trade deal city ever since then. And the ostensible latest deadline is, of course, August 1st, because it's been delayed. So it's August 1st now, this Friday. But no, it's not. Because on the weekend, it came out that, China, we're going to give them yet another 90 days. Told you, these deadlines mean nothing, because his word means nothing. And so 90 days from now, there'll be another 90 days. Strictly speaking, China wasn't August 1st. They had a special date all to themselves, like August 16 or something. But even now, in advance of that, it's like, we're going to put 3 more months on there. So that was the first news. And I was watching what was going on over the weekend, and the market didn't really care at that point about that news. But then things spiked higher. And it was curious to me because I'm like, wait, how come it didn't care about China? And a few hours later, it cares a lot about China. Well, it had nothing to do with China. There was another deal announced. This was the European Union deal. And so 15% tariffs. And so there was this huge rally and sigh of relief based on that. So that was a big win for the bulls. And the 1 or 2 bears left on the entire planet were bracing themselves for a horrible day. Dow up 1,000 or something like that. The symbol of the day is BFD. I mean, this news came out, and yes, there was a gap, but it just sort of eroded over the course of the night. As we stand here now, the ES is down 12 points. The RTY is down about 0.5%. It's not crashing, but look, it's red. Most of my shorts are red on the heels of this big bullish news that the likes of ZH love to hear. So ain't amount to nothing. I'm highly confident that August 1 will come and go without a care in the world, because these deadlines do not matter. But it's heartening to me to see this incredibly bullish news come out and the entire world basically roll their eyes and move along. So anyway, it's a good day. Looking forward to more of them as we continue to defy these stocks at these preposterously overpriced levels. Let's look at a few right now, starting with the general stuff. Here's the spider itself, which for the first time in a decade or two is actually in the red, just a little bit on an intraday basis, lifetime high today. And we've been selling off slowly through the day. As I said, the ES is down a little, about 0.5%. I will take it. And that's interesting stuff, because we are exceptionally, historically overvalued by any measure. The diamonds, the DIA, also down just a touch, about 0.25%. Ever since we leaped up here last Wednesday, I guess it was, we were just kind of marking time. Past 40, just kind of hanging out over here. If we were cut basically a small, it'll be a thimble of water in the bearish desert. It helps. It's a little bit positive. It's not that big a deal, but it will be a very modest failed bullish breakout. IWM is also down just a little. The next mark in the sand there is 226.84. That is the most recent peak on this counter trend rally. And we're right now trading around where we were back in early February of this year. But as I said, it was shocking to me, because you'll recall about a week or so ago, there have been so many white flags going on, so many surrenders that it's hard to keep track of them all. But I think about a week ago, Japan was the one we surrendered to. And it's just like, cheap tariffs, and there you go, God bless. And Japan rallied mightily. Lifetime high, EWJ was up 4 or 5%, big day. I was already short FXI, China. And I was a little worried, like, okay, how's this going to be for China? Are they going to rally 5, 10% on the day? No. FXI has basically been down all day long. It's down about 2/3% right now. Odd, isn't it? I guess it's illustrative of just how carried away the markets have become, because this is exactly the kind of news you think China would be ecstatic over. And no, the emerging markets themselves are down 0.8%. They've been slipping for the past few days. And FXI is down, as I said, about 0.2%. I've tightened up my stop on this one to this price gap based on Thursday's low. So that's one of my larger positions, and so far so good on that. NVIDIA is yet again at a lifetime high. Jensen Huang knows which side of his bread the butter is on, because I saw an interview with him with the tech bros, all in, Chamath and Jason. David Sachs used to be one of them. I guess he's occupied with AI stuff now. I'm not sure if he was there, but he was asked at this all in bros panel, like, what's the advantage the United States has over the rest of the world? And he considered that question for a moment and said, President Donald Trump. So he knows what to say in this environment we live in. And maybe that's why NVIDIA is up, because pandering works. And so we're blasting higher to this. 5 trillion market cap is out of the question. Up it goes. SMH likewise is up more than 1%, like so. Its lifetime high is here, set last. But another one specifically that's been very strong continues to be AMD, which interestingly, I just noticed this. I hadn't noticed this gap before. This is a gap that took place way back here between July 16 and 17. The exact price level was 174.53. And today, the high is 174.70. So sealed that gap. Could be just a dumb coincidence. Could be technically meaningful. We'll see. I like gaps, so I went ahead and shorted AMD based on nothing but that. What else is cooking out there? I continue to have my 20 short positions. Almost all of them having a good day. I got to update this list a little bit. But yeah, it's sailing right along today. Here's a few. BTU, which is Peabody Energy. This is down hard, almost 8%. Dollar General, DG. This is beginning to slip lower, like so. Another gap on this one. So that's cool. FMC Corporation, we've talked about this before, this huge top up here. This is down almost 2%. And one other one here, kind of a windmill I've been tilting at for a long time, never with any good results, but one day, Royal Caribbean Group, RCL. This is the lifetime high set last week. That's my stop. One day it's going to work out. This might be the one, this time for sure. Over in precious metals land, gold is selling off about $23 on the front month. We've been watching this this little triangle going on right here, this right triangle. The peak, as I've mentioned, is at 317.63. We hit it here way back in April, hit it here again almost to the penny, got close to it last week, but nope, and it's been down ever since. So gold's vivacious nature has died down for the moment. Long term, I'm sure it'll be fine. A year from now, I'm very confident it'll be way higher than it is now. A month from now, no, it could lose a goodly amount. So yeah, short term, I think it's quite expensive. GDX, the miners, down 2.5%, which is fine until and unless they break below this ascending trend line, which is a ways off. I have no precious metals positions of any kind. I do have, however, that's not quite true because I'm short XME, and that's kind of precious metals. It's in there. And this is one of the best performers today, down 2.25%. A nice hard reversal away from recent price action, the peak being just on Wednesday. So yeah, so far so good on that. It just exploded higher and now it's starting to burn that off. So huzzah. There's a watch list I follow called Recent, which is 100 stocks that are relatively young. Maybe they're a few months old. They're typically no more than 2 years old. And I was looking through them, and some of them are showing just how weary this market is in certain sectors, especially very, very speculative areas. Let's just thumb through a few of those because they're interesting. Here's one we've talked about before, CoreWeave, CRWV. We talked about the top on this. Strictly speaking, the top was completed here, and it was a little bit of a nasty boy because it went back into the pattern to some degree, but it's been slipping ever since. Just red, and not tiny red either. These are nice fat red bars. So we've fallen. This could easily be a double-digit stock this week. This could easily be a 50% loser in the next week or two. This is extraordinarily vulnerable stock. DeFi Development Corporation. This one's down about 7.5%. And I'm showing these just to illustrate the stocks that have been just white hot. And yet recently, I mean, how often in this market do you see something that looks like this? Big fat red bars day after day after day. This is a game of musical chairs, hot potatoes, whatever children's game metaphor you'd like to use. Duolingo. This was the hottest thing in pants a few months ago. This thing had exploded higher, largely based on the idea of, hey, they're going to be firing humans left, right, and sideways. They're going to save all that money because they're going to have AI do all the work for them. So there's a lot of excitement over that. But it has lost over $200 in share price over the past 2 months. It peaked in the mid 500s. Now it's down in the lower 300s. And it's been pretty persistent plunge, if we can get alliterative on you. So that's pretty cool too. Wish I was shorted. I'm not. But for those who are, I hoist my chai in your direction. What else? Fluence Energy. Massive top on this one. Reversing away from all that overhead supply. Grinder. I'm not on it, but I've been watching it. This has been a very powerful stock, and this peaked at around 25. It's lost about approaching 40% of the value. And here again, consistency. You've seen a lot of just straight up red. You just don't see that much. This is an extremely oversupported market. If you see red day after day after day, something's very wrong. Very wrong. Because everything should be just going straight up, considering what's happening. But it's not. Joby Aviation, this is the one I think is the flying car company. This was at a lifetime high today, but we've got a bearish engulfing pattern on this one, down about 6%. And a couple more from Quantum Land. Here's QBTS D-Wave, down about 5%. Failed bullish break on that one. And Quantum Computing Inc., QUBT, down almost 4%, turning away hard from that dashed red line. So the ETF that is still resolute and pushing higher and higher and higher, another lifetime high today is the Cubes, like so. Intraday lifetime high, closing probably a lifetime high, but very much at the mercy of the 4 Mag 7 stocks that are reporting Wednesday and Thursday. Plus, we got Jerry, baby. So it'll be an interesting week.
If you're not subscribed, subscribe right here. And if you want to meet me and the team in person at our next live event, hit the link at the top of the description.